Sox take on the Tigers for the second of a three-game series, and last night it was all Sox, 2-0. They won on just 2 hits. Hello again, everybody, with Mike Huff. This is Steve Stone, and last night everything went pretty well for the Sox. In fact, they beat the Tigers. Minnesota won. The Tigers' lead is down to 2 games. And last night, Mike, Gordon Beckham, one of the stars.
It was very exciting to see Gordon, again, stepping up. He's had a great year. We're all hoping he gets that Rookie of the Year. Besides Gordon is one of the bright spots. Our starting pitching has been one of the bright spots. We saw it last night with Jake Peavy and tonight with Freddie Garcia.
Freddie Garcia's had 6 quality starts in a row. He's making his 8th start of the year. It's going to be Nate Robertson going to the mound for Detroit. He's making just his 5th start of the year as he's had some arm problems. So tonight, it's going to be Garcia and Robertson, a right-hander, a left-hander, as the Sox try to rain on the parade once again of the Tigers. So stay with us. Exciting White Sox baseball coming up. Lead. And after tomorrow, the final home game of the season, the Tigers go home to take on the Twins. Hawk is away on a family matter, so it'll be Mike Huff and I taking you through this one. And the Southwest starting lineup for the Detroit Tigers. It'll be Granderson, Polanco, and Ordonez. Then Miguel Cabrera, who was held in check last night. Aubrey Huff, the DH. Guillen, Inge, Laird, and Everett round out the Tigers lineup. The Lowe's defensive setup and how they'll line up is Quentin Rios and Dye in the infield. Beckham, Ramirez, Nixon, Canerco. Ramon Castro, a late scratch, so Tyler Flowers getting a start behind the plate, and Freddie Garcia on the hill. U.S. Cellular pitcher is Freddie Garcia, making his 8th start. It's 2-3, but he's thrown the ball a whole lot better than that. His ERA 4.01. As you can see, left-handers have done absolutely nothing with him. The game conditions, and it's a beautiful night. 67 degrees with 72% humidity. The winds, not much of a factor, east 5 miles an hour. And it's mostly cloudy tonight, but I would say partly sunny at this point, and then it'll be fully dark. The umpires, Kerwin Danley behind the plate, Wally Bell's at first, Ron Culpa is at second, and Mark Carlson is at third. Last time out, Freddie against the Royals was pretty tough. Unfortunately, he lost that one, going 8 innings, giving up just 5 hits, 2 runs. He walked only 1 while fanning 3. So hoping for more of the same tonight as Curtis Granderson gets set to lead it off. Granderson's hit 19 home runs on the road this year. You can see the power number is pretty good for a leadoff hitter, but the strikeouts way up there and the batting average at 244. But 27 home runs, 64 driven in. Those are good numbers, and Freddie gets set for the first pitch of the game. Fastball for a strike. You've seen Freddie a few times. I think you got to be pleasantly surprised.
Oh my gosh, he looks healthy, and that's a big thing for Freddie. If he is healthy, he's got some great pitches, changes up speeds as we just saw right there, and is able to have a really good command in and out, up and down.
0-2 count on Granderson. And he's able to just check his swing.
For those of you that saw us last night, Granderson jumped all over that first pitch. Jermaine made a great catch running into the fence in right field. It really set the tone for a good defensive game for our Sox.
And Granderson has fanned 134 times this year. Easy ground ball to the right side. Nicks up with it. Quickly one away. And that's a good way to start because Granderson is their best base runner.
You look at Granderson's numbers over the course of the year, 20 stolen bases, the next highest on this Detroit team, only at 7. So clearly he is the only one that really poses a threat on the base paths.
Placido Polanco, who was 3 for 4 last night, had 3 singles, including a bunt and another infield hit. Hitting .287, 10 home runs, 69 driven in. Long drive left field, well hit. Quentin goes back. He's got room, and he makes the play.
Great jump by Carlos, running that ball down. As we talked about, Placido's a good all-around ball player for Detroit. Last night, 3 hits. Awfully nice seeing him off the base paths tonight. Carlos, again, checking the fence there, knowing he's got room. I'm sure Alex is telling him he's got plenty of room, keeps his eye on the ball, and watches it all the way into the glove.
So quickly, 2 up and 2 down. That brings up Magglio Ordonez, hitting .295, 7 home runs, 41 driven in. 1 for 4 last night. He grounded into a couple of double plays. Outfield straight away, and he looks at a fastball inside. Magglio had the number of at-bats that kicked in an $18 million option. Fouls that one off to the right. How many at-bats you think would you need in a year to get an $18 million option?
I think these ball clubs are smart enough to know I'm never going to get that point. For me, it would probably take about 5,000.
That one misses up, and the count goes to 2-1.
I'm sure there's some people on the north side of this city wanting to have that scratched out of a certain contract for an outfielder up with the Cubs as well.
Unfortunately, it's 5 more years guaranteed. Fly ball, easy play for Carlos Quentin, and an easy first inning. 3 up, 3 down, and the Sox coming to bat.
Well, stats, they don't lie. The White Sox, when Scott Podsednik scores a run, are 38-15 this year. He just scored a run. I hope the percentages stay exactly the way they have. And, of course, usually Beckham's involved with that as well.
Yeah, White Sox at home, they're under 42-37. On the road, 32-43. The Tigers, check this home record out, 48-26 will be their next weekend. However, on the road, they're 34-45.
They don't like away from home.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
There's the pitch to Ramirez, a high fly ball to left. Moving back is the left fielder at the track. Along the fence, jumps, and he makes the catch. That's Carlos Guillen. He waited to make that catch, too.
Well, he had to. He jumped up over the wall. Looked like he took a home run away from Ramirez, who now, by the way, Ed, in his career against Nate Robertson, because of that out, is 7 for 8.
Well, he's got him popping up, is what you're saying?
That's the first time he's retired a lefty Ramirez, and it should have been a home run. It definitely would have at least hit the very top of the fence.
Yeah, that ball would have been off the fence, I believe. So 1 out, 1 on, a run home, and here's Paul Konerko, White Sox captain. Paul at 281 with 28 home runs. He's driven in 87. The pitch is swinging a ground ball. The second could be 2. Polanco to short for 1. Everett jumps, throws, 1 hop. They still turn it. Inning-ending 4-6-3 double play. A run across, 2 hits, an error, a double play, nobody left. To the second here at U.S. Cellular on a cool evening, 1-0 White Sox. First baseman hitting .327 with 31 homers. Sox lead 1-0 on an unearned run. And the 2-0 pitch inside corner with a fastball, 2-1.
Cabrera has only faced Garcia 5 times. He has a couple of hits, which means a .400 average. One of the 2 hits, a homer.
Sidestep kick, the 2-1 to Miguel Cabrera. Inside just a smidge, 3-1 now. Check out the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the Chicago Tribune. The sports section rated this year's AP Top 10. The Chicago Tribune, it's a whole new game and day. St. Louis at Colorado a little later is a line drive to left. Buggy whip for a hit. He didn't miss a stitch on that one.
No, you gotta remember one thing about Cabrera for Freddie Garcia is he's a professional hitter.
Yeah.
And Garcia is going to have to throw stuff out of the strike zone. Anything in the strike zone, he's not going to trick Cabrera with it.
That scoreboard shows that New York, for yet another day, has beat the Red Sox 3-0 in the Bronx today. Baltimore and Cleveland underway, top of 1-0 score at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Cubs won. They beat the Giants 6-2 in the City by the Bay. And there's a strike to Aubrey Huff, the designated hitter. Huff is with 15 home runs, 243 is average. Middle infield, Ramirez and Getz. I should say Ramirez and Nix. Nix plays straight up. Ramirez almost in center field behind the second base bag. The 0-1 to Huff, a swing and a ground ball. Konerko's got it. Could be two. Tags the runner. Garcia over there. Double play. We mentioned that yesterday. He could have tagged him. He did it tonight.
Well, I'm sure that Paulie talked to one of the coaches about that play last night, and here it happens in 2 straight games, something you just never see. But a ground ball to Paul Konerko's right. He was moving off the bag with the base runner Cabrera. All he had to do was grab it, reach out with his bare hand, ball in it, and tag the runner and fire to Garcia, covering his position well.
You said last night he could have tagged him. Tonight he did tag him.
That's a good thing to see that they're paying attention to these little things down there on the field and making them come to fruition the next day.
So with 2 outs, here's the left fielder Carlos Guillen facing Garcia. There's a strike. These two involved in a trade together, going from the Astros to the Seattle Mariners for Randy Johnson.
Yes, and Johnson, he went on to help Houston go to the postseason that year, and ever since then, these guys have done a lot to help their teams.
0-1, a changeup way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. There was a left-handed pitcher involved in that trade, and
John Halama,
and he was from, I believe he was from Staten Island, New York. But yes, the Dolly Halama.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-1 again. Rolled to first. They better try somebody else. Konerko blocks it with his body, picks it up, steps on the bag. It's been the Konerko show on defense here in the second. Tags Cabrera on what turned into a double play in the back end of that Huff out 3-1, and then a bouncer to first, and Konerko runs in front of Guillen to get him. The Tigers no runs, 1 hit, a double play, nobody left. Halfway through the second, 1-0 White Sox.
More White Sox play-by-play on the way on the White Sox Radio Network.
These days, we need to get away more than ever. But since you're more careful about your money, a vacation may seem out of reach. That's why FunJet Vacations has the right prices right now.
Products and discounts not available to all persons in all states.
Hire the qualified contractors and certified electricians of NECA Chicago and IBEW Local 134, helping build Chicago for over 100 years. Visit their website.
Sacrifice bunts.
Jermaine Dye will lead it off for the White Sox here in the second. White Sox a run on a couple of hits, and Tigers have a hit and an error. Robertson's first one outside for ball 1. Robertson is a lefty that likes to use the inside corner after he's explored the outside corner and likes to dot that inside with a 2-2 or a 3-2 fastball. Falls behind Dye. The 1-0 pitch to J.D. There's a strike, 1-1.
Well, he has as much tailing action on his fastball, even though it's not overpowering. He used to throw it a bit harder, as any lefty in the league. So righties, if it starts in, they'll get a good pitch to hit, but if it's over the middle of the plate, it's going to be off the outside corner.
1-1 pitch, something off speed, tailing away 2-1.
That misses outside, so Robertson, who's got a straight change, throws a slider, likes to work inside to the right-hand hitters, but he stayed mostly away tonight. That one fouled off, and the count evens at 2-2.
And to your point, that also right on that outside corner. Don't think he realizes that ball's not necessarily carrying to left, but he left one up for Alexi, who gave it a good shot.
That ball was high and away to Ramirez, who got almost all of it. Just missing inside with the fastball, and that's where Robertson likes to go. When he's right, that fastball probably tops out 90-91, and he uses the inside pitch after he shows the pitch away. Ball four, good start to the top of the second inning. And Mike, postseason awards are going to be coming up, and of course they don't include postseason play, so the guys who are going to vote have to get their votes in when the season ends. Who do you think is going to be the MVP in the American League?
Well, you kind of think of right off the bat Joe Mauer with that .370 batting average, but also you have to look at Mark Teixeira. 37 home runs, 119 RBIs, and someone, a big name that does know how to handle that pressure in New York.
Fastball right down the middle. Carlos Quentin hitting .232, 17 home runs, 46 driven in. I think a guy going to be given tremendous consideration is Derek Jeter. Having, for him, just an outstanding year, hitting .330.
Well, and not only that, scoring over 100 runs, and how many times do you continue to hear about the fact that he just leads that team on the field, off the field, just with his presence, and keeps everybody motivated.
I think that's the guy that's going to win it. Ground ball, shortstop. There should be two. Over to second, back to first. And so an easy double play. How about the Cy Young Award in the American League?
Well, Cy Young, I mean, over here, I would think you've got a lot of good candidates.
Alex Rios. 1-0 White Sox were in the second. And then he started walking people until he got the bases loaded, and then he walked another person. But they hit him to right field. He threw a wild pitch, and Punto scored from second. The 1-2, high and deep to left. Down the line, fair ball, 2-0 White Sox. Rios has hit his 17th with 2 outs here in the second.
It's very important, Ed, for Alex Rios to have a positive to end this season. And right now, you have to say that he's getting to that where things are becoming positive for him.
That's a donation from Orland Park BMW Mercedes-Benz, the White Sox Series location on 159th Street between Harlem Avenue and LaGrange Road in the city of Orland Park. How far do you think that one flew?
Oh, let's give it a 375-foot shot.
That's sponsored by Ivy Tech Community College. Over right around 23 locations in the state of Indiana. You can also get online, and there are available classes online at ivytech.com. So the first one to Nix is over for strike one. Robertson back to the wind in the 0-1. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Were you close?
Well, yeah. Occasionally,
Yeah.
I've got it mapped out. And
I'm going to get you that chart.
No, I don't want the chart. I like guessing.
Well, you can look at the chart after you guess.
No.
Time's called at home plate by Nix.
It's not the same. It's a crutch. It's there to rely on just in case.
Ramon Castro was a late scratch to this lineup. Tyler Flowers is catching Freddie Garcia and also batting ninth. The 1-1.
Recognizes it. Good fastball for a strike.
Yeah, most often than not, Steve, you're absolutely right. The umpire, even though he can see the hitter, the batter, left or right, he's focused on the pitcher. He's looking for that release point as well. And unless you shake your hand a little bit or really get his eyes, sometimes just putting a hand up is not enough to have an umpire call timeout.
I've seen guys actually try to race back and take a swing when the umpire does not recognize the timeout. Usually doesn't work very well for them.
No.
2-2 count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, and that will do it. Nix goes down on strikes, but The Sox get another run and lead 2-0 as we head to the top of the third inning. It's 2-0 Sox as Brandon Inge leads off the top of the third inning. And he looks at a fastball for a strike. Tough night last night. 4 strikeouts.
And you compound that with the error that led to Gordon Beckham's 2-run home run. I don't think he slept very well last night.
A night that he would like to forget. Hitting .232, pretty decent power numbers, 27 home runs, 79 driven in. Outfield straight away, fairly deep all the way around, and that fastball misses up and in.
I'll tell you another night that he probably liked to forget was that home run hitting contest in the All-Star game. 27 home runs over the course of the year against guys throwing 90 miles an hour. Oh, no.
That one hit awfully hard. Carlos goes back to the wall, and he makes the play. Inge thought he had it, caught it off the end of the bat, and Carlos had just enough room.
Carlos checking the fence right there again. A great job. I'm sure Alex is yelling at him. He's got time, but once you can glance at the fence, now you can really concentrate on the ball and really get a sense and feel if you're going to have a chance at it, which he did.
And Freddie pretty happy that that one stayed in the park. I think he thought it was gone as Gerald Laird comes up, hitting .227, 4 home runs, 32 driven in. His contributions have been defensive. He's thrown out 42% of the men who have tried to steal against him. And the Tigers are kind of lobbying for a gold glove for Laird, who pops it straight up. Tyler Flowers calling for it, and he makes the play. So quickly, 2 up and 2 down.
To your point, there are too many times you've got a great defensive player that may not quite have offensive numbers that get a lot of people's attention, but truly warrant consideration for a gold glove.
I think it's going to be close, and at the end of the day, they're going to take a look at a 370-some batting average for Joe Mauer and award him the gold glove.
You don't want it to go that way, but I think you're right. Sometimes it does.
Adam Everett. He's hitting .237, 3 home runs, 43 driven in. He's a pretty good butter, and with that in mind, Gordon Beckham in at the cut of the grass at third. That fastball misses off the corner, and the count moves to 1-1.
Steve, it looks to me like Tyler's found a pretty good rhythm with Freddie. A kind of last-minute insertion behind the plate and a veteran pitcher on the mound. Seems like they're working pretty well together.
Well, this is a difficult situation because Tyler doesn't know Freddie real well. Freddie's been around seemingly forever, and Tyler in his first year. That one, tap foul down the line. So the count holds at 1-2.
A situation like this, do you think Tyler ends up looking more into the dugout for the pitch to call, or is he relying more on Freddie to go ahead and shake him off if he puts something down Freddie doesn't want?
I think that he's calling the game. And I think that if Freddie doesn't want it, then he'll just go to a different pitch. That one pops straight up. Ramirez going out. Quentin coming in. It's Carlos calling for it, and he takes it easily. So another easy inning. 1, 2, 3. We head into the bottom of the third inning. Sox leading 2-0.
Side corner for the double play. Next at bat, right down the middle, inner half, and then with 2 outs, right in that corner against Jason. So I keep hoping he makes a few more of those mistakes than those on the corner.
Tyler Flowers, a late insertion into the lineup, leading it off, hitting 200, yet to drive in his first major league run. He's got some big power to the opposite field. He swings and misses at a straight change. That evens the count at 1-1. We've had a terrific look at the future the last couple of days. Tyler Flowers is part of that future.
Looking very bright, too. I mean, you think about Peavy, the way he pitched, knowing that he's going to be on the mound for the next few years. Danks, Floyd, Burley, Beckham. You look at our middle infielders getting better and more confident every day.
And Freddie Garcia, who was an afterthought when the season started because he was with the Mets, and then they released him. Coming here, working his way back into shape, and he's thrown the ball unbelievably well and very consistent. That one misses high and away, and the count goes full.
Well, and that picture you just saw, folks, of Peavy talking to the youngsters, I tell you what, when I was up here in the early 90s, all of us were doing that. Jack McDowell was surrounded by Alex Fernandez, Jason Beret, Wilson Alvarez, all young kids just trying to learn from each other, absorb as much as they could.
That one misses low and in, so Tyler Flowers draws a base on balls. That's the second for Robertson. And Scott Posednik, who bunted his way on and scored the first Sox run, steps up.
Well, 3 innings in a row with the leadoff man on base. I'm sure Ozzy's got to be saying, where has this been the whole month of September?
Well, you do that especially with a walk, and it's pretty easy to score. That fastball misses inside. So 1-0 count to Scott Posednik, who's battling to keep that batting average over 300. He's at 302 with that bunt hit in the first inning. Not much of a lead by Tyler Flowers. And for the second time, he misses up and in. So the count goes to 2-0.
You talk about MVPs for the team, and Scotty Pod coming on board partway into the season has still played in over 100 games, hitting over 300. Truly has been a spark that gave, I think, everyone in Chicago hope that we were going to be a playoff team this year.
I think Posednik this year, at the top of the order, has given the Sox what they truly needed because they didn't have a bona fide leadoff hitter. And he's stolen 29 bases. The percentage is pretty good. Hasn't had the greatest year running the bases, but he's had a tremendous offensive year. 2-1 pitch, ground ball to second base. They go to second for one, back to first, a double play. So that's the third double play turned in as many innings. And they're 2 out here in the third.
Just letting them off the hook right there. We talked about this last night, folks, how in the major leagues you get 27 outs. You don't want to give any team extras with errors. Also, you don't want to take any away with double plays. Unfortunately, we've done it 3 times in 3 innings.
Gordon looks at a fastball high and away. He drove in his 59th run with a base hit in the first inning.
You talk about giving pitchers or teams a breath of fresh air when they may be on the ropes.
And that's a tapper to Robertson, who makes the play easily. So we head into the top of the 4th inning. The Sox leading 2-0. Curtis Granderson will lead off the top of the 4th inning. He grounded to second in the first. He's 0 for 5 in the series, and it's 2-0 Sox as we head in to the top of the 4th. Fly ball center field. Alex has got it measured. He drifts back and makes the play. Here's our Aflac trivia question. As Duck waddles by, who's the only Detroit pitcher to no-hit the White Sox? And we'll have that answer for you a little bit down the road as Placido Polanco, who flied out to left field in the first inning. They play Polanco straight up. He uses the whole field, and he takes a fastball right down the middle.
Placido had a good pass on that at bat last time. Just missed it a little bit off the end of the bat. Carlos ran that one down nicely. And Freddie, 4th inning in a row, getting that leadoff hitter out. Gotta like seeing that.
He's been doing that since the first start. The first start, he looked very rusty. The breaking ball was flat. The fastball didn't have much on it. But after that first start, he's just been terrific. 6 starts in a row, quality starts. That one misses up and away, and the count evens at 1-1. Just about the time you think Polanco is going to flick that ball into right center field, he'll drive the ball and take it out of the ballpark.
Well, he is your true ideal number 2 hitter in that he's looking to go right center with that approach, keeping his shoulder in. But as you said, if you hang a curveball, you leave a changeup up over the middle of the plate. He's not afraid to throw the barrel on it and drive it out and left.
Little pop-up. Rios coming in. Nick's going out. Rios calls for it and makes the play. And here's our Jaguar high performance of the week. Carlos Guillen with a 4-game hitting streak. He's been red hot. Maglio Ordonez has been hitting everything in sight, and Placido Polanco with a 6-game hitting streak. So those three have made up most of the offense. And that's our Jaguar high performance of the week. So 2 up and 2 down here in the 4th inning. Freddie Garcia rolls right along. And he misses low to Maglio Ordonez. Ordonez hitting over 400 in September.
I tell you what, you put those 3 hitters in the middle of your order, and a team that's only made 1-2 errors over the last 20 games, you're going to put yourself in a position to win a lot, which these guys have done.
Well, unfortunately for the Tigers, they're trying to hold off the hottest team in baseball, and that's the Minnesota Twins. They're winners of 4 in a row, 9 of their last 10, and they've closed to within 2 with 4 games coming up in Detroit against these Tigers. Fly ball right at Jermaine Dye, who makes the play. 3 up and 3 down in the 4th inning. We head to the bottom of the 4th, and it's 2-0 Sox. Who's the only Detroit pitcher to no-hit the White Sox? And as a duck waddles by, it's Jack Morris. April 7th of 1984, the Tigers won 4-0. 1984 is the year that they defeated the San Diego Padres in the World Series, and the Tigers had a magnificent season. In fact, that year, they were 35-5 in their first 40 games, played 500 the rest of the way, and won it all by plenty. Right down the line, past the diving in. Ramirez around first, takes the big turn, but has to hold up as Guillen gets to the ball quickly, and he's got a very good arm in left field.
Alexi, a great at-bat here. He just missed it last time, stayed on top of it by keeping his hand. Oh my gosh, looks like that hit something. Brandon Inge looked like he almost overdove for this ball. Hit something, went right underneath the glove, and Alexi does a good job of not pushing it, because Carlos truly one of the strongest arms in the outfield for the Tigers here.
Paul Konerko grounded into a double play to end the first inning. Looks at a fastball high and away. For the 4th straight inning, the Sox have the leadoff man on. And I just got a text from my dog Tex, who is very bitter being left out of the picks to click, so we will include him in the picks to click. Fastball shaves off the outside corner.
Well, Denise and I have 2 dogs as well, and I guarantee they'd be upset if we left them out of anything till we did. I do want to throw a shout out. Stepsons, Brian, who's over in Afghanistan right now with the Army, as well as Wesley, stepson, who's going to be going to Afghanistan in a few months. Obviously want to thank all of our armed services folks doing their job for us, keeping us safe over here.
And there isn't a day goes by when we don't think about our men and women overseas that are doing such a great job. And we hope to see them back as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, exactly.
Robertson throws a wild pitch. That's his second. And Ramirez moves to second base. Robertson's struggling tonight. Doesn't have a real good release point and doesn't have a good feel for the strike zone. This ball tries to take that ball to the right side. So how easy is that for a hitter to do, knowing you're a power hitter, but you want to move the runner along with nobody out?
I think that's the unique part about Paul Konerko. Most power hitters don't have that mentality and really don't have a mindset or a swing that they can do that. With Paul working with Greg Walker, great hitting coach, still takes that approach, trying to drive the ball up the middle, making the adjustments, and truly can take some inside pitches. Unfortunately, not that one, as well as some outside pitches to right field. And sometimes, even with 2 strikes, you have to almost say, if he's going to come inside, you know what, I'm just going to try to hit it hard, and if it's inside, I'm going to try to drive it down the left field line for a double.
Second strikeout of the game for Robertson, who has walked a pair. There's Greg Walker as he talks it over with A.J. Przinsky, who's getting the night off tonight.
A.J. having a great year for the White Sox.
Well, he's one of the guys that, number one, is durable, as they're going to intentionally walk Jermaine Dye. So that's going to be his second walk. Third issued by Robertson. And this pretty much tells you what Jim Leyland thinks of his offense. If he doesn't want to give Jermaine Dye a chance in the 4th inning to make it 3-0.
I'm sure his scouting report showed that Jermaine really is looking much more comfortable at the plate. He had a 2-home run game earlier in the week, and I guarantee he's probably thinking, if I have to go at one of these two, Carlos or Jermaine is probably hitting the ball a little bit better. Let's give my boy Nate a chance at Carlos. Now, we all know what Carlos did last night, one of the 2 hits and a solid line drive up the middle, so hopefully he can come through again in this situation.
First time up, he grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. Last night he was 1 for 3. And Robertson almost throws that one to the screen. So Laird does a nice job of keeping the double play in order. Jim Leyland has help on the bench by Gene Lamont, who was a former Major League manager right here with the White Sox.
Right here with the White Sox.
And Lloyd McClendon, former Major League manager with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And you had a look at their pitching coach, Rick Knapp. 26 years in the minor leagues before getting his first shot at the major leagues with these Tigers. Count even at 1-1. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Laird once again stops one from going to the screen. So good mobility. Smothers that ball nicely.
He is definitely getting his pay tonight behind the dish. You saw Rick Knapp on the top step watching Nate closely. You think about the runs he's given up, a couple of the good pitches, but a couple of the bad, and the wildness here. I'm sure he's a little bit worried right now.
Ramirez leads away, and Robertson misses away. So a 3-1 count. Not exactly what Jim Leyland had in mind when he issued the intentional walk to Jermaine Dye. So Knapp on the phone calling the bullpen. They can't afford to let this one get away early. 3-1 pitch. Good change up away, and Carlos swung over the top, but he's mad at himself because that ball was well out of the zone.
Well, also the fact that when you're in a 3-1 situation, if you're going to be going for an off-speed pitch, it better be up in the zone and in your sweet spot, which for Carlos really is either down and in or up and in, not away like that.
Runners lead away, and that ball driven to left field. Way back, it's gone.
Get out of here.
The intentional walk doesn't work very well as Carlos Quentin hits his 18th home run of the year. He has 49 driven in, and just like that, it's a 5-0 game. They're dancing in the streets of Minneapolis.
They are excited. They're dancing in the streets here. We've got a full house here. Fireworks going off. As we talked about with Alex, 2 strikes, you shorten things up. Carlos, we know he likes that ball down and in, and boom! Gets the barrel out there. A little bit of a cut fastball. Not in enough by Nate. And for the second time with 2 strikes, he is taken out of the ballpark.
For Carlos Quinn, who's had a very frustrating year physically, he's starting to turn it on at the end. So Rios takes a fastball away and fouls that one straight back to even the count. Alex hit a solo home run in the second inning. And it's been all Sox, 5-0. 5-5-0 for the White Sox. 0-1-1 as a base hit to left field by Rios, who's 2 for 2.
Another nice swing here by Alex. Let's see if Ozzie lets him run here. Alex is really getting into a groove, looking just more comfortable overall. This at bat, a nice short swing. Again, a pitch up in the zone that he was able to handle. Didn't try to do too much, used his hands. Base hit to left, and now Gerald probably looking to give Nate a little bit of time and the bullpen a little bit of time to warm up.
Gene Lamont wanting to find out if the bullpen is ready yet. And Laird went out there because that's going to be it for Robertson. So Jim Leland going to the mound slowly. Robertson just didn't have it tonight, and the Sox took advantage of it. And it's going to be a very short night for the veteran left-hander. So Robertson is going to depart. We'll step out, and we'll be back after these messages. And our Lexus call to the pen is Alfredo Figueroa.
Alfredo's only pitched in 3 games this year, 2 as a starter, just coming off the DL with a right wrist sprain. He did go down to Double-A and worked out of the bullpen, and I think, as Jimmy's probably thinking, if I'm going to use this guy going forward in the playoffs, it's going to be in the bullpen, not as a starter. And even though it's only 3 appearances, a chance for him to step up and show what he can do.
Well, one of the things he can't do is get out left-handers. They're hitting .455 against him. But he'll face Jason Nix, who struck out in the second inning. Alex Rios at first base. Sox lead 5-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. 3 runs across and only 1 out. That fastball right down the middle.
It'll be interesting to see what Ozzie does with Alex on first base here. 5 runs is a lot. Detroit can put up some runs in a hurry when they're healthy.
Another fastball for a strike. Minnesota playing at Kansas City. It's Scott Baker at 13-9 against Lenny DiNardo, who's 0-1. And you'd have to think when this score goes up on the board, there's going to be some very psyched up Twins. Rios with a decent lead. The fastball misses up and away.
Kansas City also playing great baseball this second half of the month of September. Went on a roll, came through here, and looked awfully tough.
The one problem for Minnesota is they're going to have to face Zach Greinke twice, including tomorrow afternoon. They get by him, they might deserve it.
Well, right now they're losing in the bottom of the third, 2-0. But I think you're right. They're probably breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief knowing how well we're doing here, but clearly thinking they got to win tonight because tomorrow's going to be a dogfight against Zach.
2-2 count on Jason Nix. Jason's had a good power year, 12 home runs in limited action. Slider misses away. I know a lot of times you didn't start in the major leagues. How difficult is it to come off the bench, not an everyday starter, and still keep your stroke?
Very difficult. I mean, a great point. It really goes back to your assistant coaches, your hitting coach. Can you get out into early practice? Can you get into some game situations? Can you play certain games while you're taking batting practice?
Right it in. Over to second. He's safe. Back to first. They do get the out at first. But in trying for the double play, Rios a little too quick, running on the 3-2 pitch, and able to beat the play at second.
And glad he was. Again, one of those unthought of things with Alex. He does have over 20 stolen bases. Looks like the throw may have just beat him, but we'll take that call.
Yeah, he's out at second. Ron Culpa missed that one. It's a bang-bang play. We had a few calls go our way in this series, but a couple going the Tigers' way. 2 outs here, and Tyler Flowers, who drew a base on balls his only time up tonight, looking for his first major league run driven in.
Well, and he's got the right guy on second base. Scotty Pott, Alex Rios. These are the two that you want there if you're looking for your first RBI. Anything in the alleys, anything in front of the center fielder, right, left, these guys are going to be hauling to score.
1-0 pitch, misses away. Who'd you drive in your first run against?
First run I drove was actually a home run myself. First at bat in the major leagues. Got a hanging curveball from Tom Glavine for a base hit knock, and first RBI was in Philadelphia off Dennis Cook. Cut fastball in that I put in the bullpen and actually still have the baseball.
That's pretty nice. Good fastball. Count goes to 2-1. Dennis Cook, I remember, a left-hander who stayed around a long time, so they didn't release him after he gave up a home run.
Yeah, if you can, it's amazing that they kept him around. But yeah, back in '89, I think he played all the way up until the year 2000. He was a good little reliever, and again knew how to get certain people out with just a little cut fastball.
Another good fastball over the outside corner, so the count evens at 2-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth inning. It's all Sox 5-0. Tigers have just one hit off Freddie Garcia. And the Tigers have made the only error of the game, and that by Nate Robertson, allowing the Sox to go on top 1-0 in the first. The breaking ball hung inside, and sometimes as a pitcher you get a little lucky. You hang a breaking ball, but it hangs too far inside.
Well, and sometimes as a pitcher, and tell me, you are smart enough, obviously incredible amount of success. Would you sometimes, if you got behind 2-0, almost throw a changeup or a little batting practice fastball inside, knowing certain hitters would pull that foul for a strike?
I think the batting practice fastball 2-0 is one of the best pitches you can throw. 3-2 pitch, and that ends it in the bottom of the fourth, but the Sox put 3 up on the board, and at the end of 4, they lead 5-0. It's 5-0 heading into the top of the 5th inning. Freddie's given up just one hit. That to the man you're looking at, Miguel Cabrera. Base hit leading off the 2nd inning. And Freddie's ahead 0-1. Outfield around toward right, and a good slow breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
Great job by Freddie here, changing up speeds. Not only the pitch, but the speed of the pitch. That was an ultra slow curveball. Miguel clearly out in his front foot.
Well, Tigers had Freddie Garcia, and he was the guy that started game 162. And for 5 innings, he threw the ball pretty well against the Sox. Long drive, left field, well hit. And that's home run number 32. 97th driven in. So on 0-2, it looked like back-to-back breaking balls, the second going out of the ballpark.
Unfortunately for this curveball, where the first one dropped off the table and was out of the zone, this one stayed in the zone, and I'm sure Freddie wished he had this pitch back. First pitch was that good hard fastball. Second, the curveball that almost hit the ground, and this one you can see still right over the middle of the plate. Lower half of the zone. Cabrera, good pass on it, and unfortunately, they're on the board.
Aubrey Huff, who grounded into a double play back in the 2nd inning, getting his second at bat, and takes it right back up the middle, off the glove of Alexi, and that's probably going to go as a base hit. He was shading up the middle, but that one just didn't stick in the glove.
Well, the scouting report had him played perfectly. Alexi up the middle, as you said, overreached for it. Rarely do you see infielders reach that far out and have the ball come back and hit their glove, but Alexi, good jump. Thought it was probably further up the middle than it really was. Unfortunately, another base hit.
Huff leads away at first, and Carlos Guillen. He grounded to Paul Konerko in the 2nd inning. That ball down the line, slicing into the seats. Guillen, a switch hitter with most of his power coming from the left side.
Tough person to double up. This team's got 5 or 6 people in double digits on double plays, only been doubled up 7 times. Granted, he hasn't played that much this year, but not one of your better double play candidates unless he hits it hard at somebody.
Fouls that one straight back. And Freddie's ahead 0-2. Guillen this year has been to bat 251 times. 216 of them from the left side. So he very, very rarely gets a chance to swing right-handed. And with the shoulder problem, that was where he had his problems. Fastball misses up and away, and the count goes to 1-2. Nobody out here in the 5th inning. Sox have a 5-1 lead. Aubrey Huff at first base.
Freddie doing a good job. 31 out of the 47 pitches being strikes. I'm sure Don Cooper's loving that. Double play would look really good here, though.
That one misses down and in, and Tyler Flowers does a nice job of making sure that one doesn't go back to the screen and keeps the double play in order. So the count evens at 2-2.
We talked briefly about the American League MVP and Cy Young. On the National League side, I know there's one guy that's in the top 2 or 3 in just about every offensive category. Is there any doubt that there's someone besides Albert that can be the MVP?
No, I think Albert Pujols has that one already polished up and ready to go.
How about on the Cy Young side?
That's a little different story. Well hit to center field, but Alex Rios measuring this ball. He goes back to the track with about 2 feet to spare. He gets it back in, so that ball hit awfully hard. But fortunately, he's only hit 398 feet.
Alex, another good jump on this one. Goes back with his arm out. You can see the pitch again. A little bit too much of the plate. Guillen puts a good pass on it. Now, there's your arm out. Starting to feel, I'm sure with his feet, he just felt the warning track. Was able to pull it in pretty easily.
One out here in the 5th inning, and Brandon Inge comes up. Looks at a fastball for a strike. He hit the ball pretty hard the first time up, leading off the 3rd inning. Took Carlos Quentin all the way back to the wall before he hauled it in. So Freddie using the whole ballpark tonight. Another good fastball. He took a little something off and hit the outside corner with it.
Well, not only is he using the whole ballpark, he's using all of his players behind him. I know as an outfielder, you love having a pitcher that's going to get up on the mound, throw strikes, and keep you in the game. Freddie's doing a great job of grabbing that ball and getting ready to throw it.
That one popped up. Flowers coming over, but he's going to run out of row.
Now that's got to be the most difficult part for a young catcher, young outfielder, even a young first or third baseman. You're going into the major leagues now. In the minor leagues, everything is pretty tight to the field because you want the fans to be as close as they can. But now in the major leagues, some fields like Oakland have an expansive foul territory, and others are right there.
This is about fair. This is about where you want to have it. Of course, from a pitching standpoint, I want to have 100 yards.
The Oaklands of the
in
world.
Foul territory. 0-2 count on Brandon Inge. We'll get back to that National League Cy Young Award after this pitch. He got it. So for the 5th time in 2 nights, Inge goes down on strikes. I think it's going to be between Chris Carpenter and Adam Wainwright. Lincecum looked like he was right in the middle of it, but he's kind of dropped off. Lost the ball game last night to the Cubs. Wainwright's won 18, Carpenter's won 16.
How much as teammates are they teasing each other or pushing each other to push themselves to get that award?
Well, I think they're pushing one another. In fact, Carpenter has the ERA lead at 2.30. Wainwright's at 2.59. He's third. It looks to me like a battle between those two guys.
Now, you think each of them may just have one more start, knowing they've got their division pretty well wrapped up and trying to get ready for postseason?
I think that Tony's going to start him. I think he'll limit the innings, but I don't think that he wants to take him down and have him do nothing for 10 days. 1-1 count. Gerald Laird, who popped up back in the 3rd inning. Aubrey Huff at first base, 2 outs. And that one just missed him. So the count moves to 2-1.
I'm sure Gerald's probably thinking, what in the heck am I doing here? I've got a soft curveball coming at me, and I'm jumping out of the way of it. I'm a catcher. I'm getting beat up all the time. That's an easy way to get to first base.
Sometimes your reflexes take over. Whatever happened to taking one for the club?
Oh, and just missed right there, 2-1 on that outside corner. 3-1 now. Gerald hitting .630, earning All-American honors his senior year in high school. Obviously, at one time, this man was a monster behind the plate as well as at the bat.
One hopper right at Beckham, who makes a nice pick, has plenty of time, throws it across, and the damage held to a minimum. So we head into the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 5-1 Sox. Bottom of the fifth inning, it's 5-1. And so far, you've seen Freddie having a pretty good ball game. What do you think of his stuff?
Oh, it's a great ball game. Again, I mean, he's throwing the fastball where he wants to, some really good outside corner pinpoint accuracy. The thing I like the most is Tyler Flowers is not afraid to call a soft curveball, even in the dirt, having enough confidence that he can block it if Freddie really snaps it off too far.
Scott Posednik, 1 for 2. And he looks at a sinker away. Scott at 301. And regardless of what any hitter tells you, 300 on the back of your baseball card is pretty good as compared to 299.
Yeah, I mean, they can say whatever they want. You're absolutely right. You come down to those last few games of the year, and you want to be out there, you want to be playing, but you really want to get those hits to make sure it's 301, 302. And that's a great swing, staying on top of a high fastball or changeup, was it? And Scotty Pod leading off with another base hit. That is our fifth inning, having our leadoff hitter get on base.
This was a changeup, and normally you keep a changeup up in the zone and it turns into a base hit. So I can't remember the last time I saw the Sox have the leadoff man on 5 straight innings. But normally when you do that, you're going to score some runs.
Which we have done today. I mean, several times getting that leadoff man out just puts pressure early for Robertson, hopefully now for Figueroa, that will get him around. Gordon shaking his head a little bit on that. I'm not sure if that hit the corner or not, but Gordon having a great season this year. And you see 1 for 2, picked up Scotty Pod, who led off for us the bottom of the first with the base hit, got that RBI single.
Gordon with 59 driven in. And Laird does a nice job of making sure that one doesn't get by him. So Ozzie is pretty well aware that Laird is among the best in baseball at throwing out base runners, and now Minnesota's taken a 5-2 lead in the top of the 4th inning. Apparently Lenny DiNardo has had some problems getting out of the 4th.
He looked good through 3, but obviously stumbling here in the 4th.
Fastball misses up, and the count goes to 2-1. And normally, if you're going to run, this is a good count for it. Gordon has the ability to take the ball to right or right center. Now Gerald Laird looks over in the dugout to see what Rick Knapp might want. Runner going. That one popped up to the right side. Cabrera giving chase. Is going to stay in play. And Cabrera makes the play. Posednik did a nice job of recognizing where that ball was. And how quickly, Mike, do you want to look back to try to pick up the baseball on a hit and run?
Well, on a hit and run, about your 3rd or 4th step, you want to be glancing in toward home plate, if in fact that's a hit and run. If it's a straight steal and your head's down and you're focusing on second, the minute you hear contact, you should be picking up your third base coach. He should be pointing you in the direction of where the ball is, and Scotty Pod did a great job picking those signals up, looking where it was, and hustling back to first.
Alexei Ramirez 1 for 2, singled and scored back in the 4th inning, and he grounds to shortstop. Over to second for 1, an easy double play, and just like that, Figueroa and the Tigers are out of the 5th inning. So we'll head to the 6th. The Sox lead by 4.
Box Drawer at csnchicago.com, brought to you by Toshiba.
Adam Everett leading off the 6th inning. Flat out to left field to end the 3rd inning. The Tigers have 4 double plays in 5 innings and just missed a double play in the 4th. It appears that they actually had it, but Ron Kolpa said no. Chopper, left side, tough play for Ramirez. Off balance throw, and he gets him. Visit the official online shop of the White Sox at whitesox.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including officials' caps, T-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the whitesox.com shop. Curtis Granderson, who's had a tough series, 0 for 6 so far, 0 for 2 tonight. Steps in with 1 out. Looks at a fastball down the middle, and Freddie putting a little something on, taking a little something off those fastballs.
Just as you talked about earlier, Steve, sometimes that batting practice fastball is a great pitch, because for a pitcher, you know you can throw it for a strike, and for a hitter, it's not quite a changeup, it's not a fastball, so you don't know what to do, and you freeze.
Both Rick Sutcliffe and Greg Maddox told me the same thing. They will go below the hitting speed when they're in a count with a hitter looking for a fastball. And a strikeout by Granderson. So 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th inning as Freddie Garcia rolling right along.
Well, and for Curtis Granderson as a leadoff hitter, your job is to get on base. Walks, bunts, you got to be the fast guy. Granderson provides something really nice with the home run power. Unfortunately, he also now has 135 strikeouts. I'm sure frustrating Leland beyond all belief.
Little base hit to right field. That one dumped right in front of Jermaine Dye. And Polanco, who was hitless, keeps the inning alive.
Well, Placido yesterday, 3 base hits. Now, all of them weren't solid, not well struck like that, but again, we talked about this is the type of player you need to have a winning ball club and a winning organization. He does so many things well, and we just saw another one of them.
Magglio Ordonez 0 for 2, driving that ball to right field. Jermaine Dye on the run. He's not going to be able to get to this one. This one off the wall, and here comes Polanco. He's going to be held at third. Ordonez, I don't know if he thought that ball was out, but he was very slow getting to second base. I'm surprised there was even an afterthought of a play at second.
Well, see, I mean, you wonder if he's injured, if he's hurt, what he was thinking when he was coming out of the batter's box. Magglio always had that great power to right field, and he might have really thought this was a home run. Jermaine does a great job of getting over there quickly. Oh, there you go. He didn't even know. He thought it was a foul ball.
He couldn't find the baseball.
Which is really surprising, knowing it was in fair territory. I can't remember ever seeing that in the past.
Well, it was in fair territory by a good margin. Runners at second and third. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. And Miguel Cabrera, 2 for 2, steps in and skies this one foul to the right side. So this is the one man in this lineup with 97 runs driven in that you really worry about, especially in situations like this. He's got big power to right center field. We've already seen him take the ball out in left field. So for Freddie, the biggest situation of the game so far. Sox lead by 4. That one misses up and away. Got Aubrey Huff in the on-deck circle. He's got a base hit.
You see Freddie almost reaching back there a little bit, realizing, you know what's happening here. I had a pretty good inning going here and a nice little single, and all of a sudden I put myself in a tough position with guys on second and third.
Well, he's calling out Tyler because he doesn't want any mistakes here. And again, you got a veteran pitcher with a rookie catcher. So Freddie's going to tell him what he wants to do. Now, although Freddie doesn't throw near as hard as he used to throw, to get Cabrera out more times than not, going 3, 4, maybe 5 inches inside off the plate, with first base open especially, is a good place to go. Little looper center field, base hit. It's going to score 2. So that slow breaking ball out over the plate doesn't work, and Cabrera has driven in 99, 3 tonight. And it's a 5-3 game.
As you talked about, Steve, you got first base open with the one guy in this lineup that can really hurt you. I'm sure Freddie was thinking, let me throw balls out of the zone. This one out of the zone, but Miguel wasn't going to give him a chance to walk him. He was up there hacking, and that's why he's making the money, and that's why he's the player he is.
That's why the Tigers wanted this prolific run producer, and Aubrey Huff comes up representing the tying run. Makes that fastball up and away and fouls it up the right side. So with 3 runs the last 2 innings, the Tigers have closed the gap to 5-3. Minnesota in the bottom of the 4th inning, leading Kansas City 5-2. Outfield straight away, fairly deep all the way around, and that breaking ball misses down. So no one up in the bullpen yet. Nate Robertson started this one for the Tigers. He went 3 1/3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. Alfredo Figueroa has come in. And a good block down by Tyler Flowers. And I think when Freddie called out Tyler, what he said to him was, I'm going to throw a breaking ball in the dirt. I want you to smother it. Unfortunately, he threw it about shoe high. It wasn't in the dirt. And Cabrera was able to reach out and tap it into right center field.
Yeah, as we saw Tyler going down on his knees, probably assuming that same thing. This ball's going to bounce, but Miguel didn't let it get there.
That evens the count at 2-2.
And these are the types of innings that have to just frustrate Ozzie and all managers in general. You have your starting pitcher looking really good, making some good pitches. Not too bad a pitch against Polanco, a little base hit. Next pitch, all of a sudden, there's a double, and the next pitch, you've got their best hitter up 2 or 3 later. Now they've given up 2 runs, and 5-1 is 5-3.
Huff just able to stay alive. So the Sox about hit the Tigers 7-6. The only error of the game came when Nate Robertson threw one away in the 1st inning. And for the Tigers, only their 3rd error in the last 23 games. Last night, a very costly one at 3rd base. And tonight, the error cost him a run. That ball hit awfully hard past Andy Van Slyke at 1st base. Of course, Van Slyke was a terrific outfielder for Jim Leland in those 3 consecutive division championships with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And when you've got Bobby Bonilla, Andy Van Slyke, and Barry Bonds in your outfield, you're going to win some games.
Yeah, knowing Andy's reputation in center field, making just spectacular catch after spectacular catch, I was a little surprised to see that ball get by him.
Discretion, the better part of valor. The 2-2 pitch. That one misses up. Andy Van Slyke started with the St. Louis Cardinals, and they couldn't find a position for him. They played him at 3rd, they played him at 1st, they played him in the outfield, and he found a home in center field for Pittsburgh, and he was a good one. Full count on Aubrey Huff. Cabrera will be off with the pitch. A towering fly ball. Rios calls for it and makes the play. So the Tigers get a pair, and we head into the bottom of the 6th inning. Sox lead 5-3. On U.S. Cellular Bears postgame live. Pat Boyle and former Bears Jim Miller, Jerry Azuma, and Dan Jiggets break down all the action, plus Kip Lewis brings you interviews with the players. U.S. Cellular Bears postgame live tomorrow immediately after the game, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. A big crowd on hand tonight, and they've been very enthusiastic. 35,590 paid. This is the second last home game of the year. And they've come out to cheer on their Sox. Sox lead by 2. A lot of young people in the stands tonight. And Paul Konerko leading it off. He's 0 for 2. Takes a slider up high. See if he can keep the streak going. The Sox have put the first man on in 5 straight innings, only to ground into 4 double plays. The all-time record for one team, 7.
Yeah, we're getting awfully close to trying to tie or break that record the way we've been going. Paulie, good job not swinging at a hitter's pitch there. 1-0. Figueroa throwing a good curveball for a strike. We talked about this a little bit last night. Pitchers being successful in the major leagues, throwing a pitch that's not a fastball in a fastball situation.
And an easy tap to the right side. Polanco getting it over to Cabrera, and quickly one out, and that snaps the streak at 5. Zach Miner loosening up in the bullpen. Figueroa's done a nice job. He took over in the 4th inning with 1 out. Nate Robertson didn't have it. He's been able to hold the Sox right there where he found it at 5 runs. Jermaine Dye, who was walked intentionally in the 4th inning to bring up Carlos Quentin in a double play situation, and he hit a line drive 3-run homer.
Well, to your point, after Quentin's and Rios' hit, Figueroa's put us down 6 in a row here, so hopefully Jermaine can break up that streak.
The 1-0 pitch. One fouled off to the right. Jermaine's been up twice, he's walked twice. Once intentionally.
Well, Jermaine, Carlos, and Alex has really provided the power and the run scoring for us today, so hopefully we can get the same type of performance and production.
Right back up the middle. Polanco, with plenty of time, gets it across and makes the play. I think Figueroa was surprised when that one went over his glove. You think about the ball getting through, but Polanco was shaded up the middle.
Again, goes back to these advanced scouting reports. Infield pinching the middle. I'm sure Figueroa thinking, I just gave up a hit. Then he sees his second baseman right there, making a nice throw to first and getting Jermaine out by a couple steps. Jermaine, you see tossing the bat there, probably a little bit frustrated. He didn't hit that one harder because that was a good pitch to hit.
Carlos Quint rounded into a double play and hit a 3-run homer in the 4th.
Carlos was first at bat, hit into a 6-4-3 double play, pulling an outside fastball in the corner. This one got that cutter on the inner half, dropped the head on it, and drove it out of the ballpark.
Chopper right at Inge. Plenty of time. Throws it in the dirt. Cabrera able to scoop it. And 3 up and 3 down in the 6th inning. We'll head to the 7th. Sox ahead 5-3. Find out more, call 1-888-4BEST-TV. In Toronto, a notable occurrence. Ichiro Suzuki got thrown out of the game today for arguing balls and strikes. The first time in his long and illustrious career he's ever been thrown out of a game. It was Brian Runge behind the plate, and he gave him the heave-ho. This is a guy going to be in the Hall of Fame in 2 different countries. And imagine, as long as he's played, he's never been thrown out of a game.
Well, it's amazing. Never been thrown out in either country. You would think at some point he's going to snap, he's going to say something, he's going to be a part of a melee or some brawl where he gets thrown out. But all those years in Japan and all those years here, never being thrown out. Very impressive.
That ball driven into the gap, and Jermaine got to it quickly to hold Guillen at first base. So Freddie having some problems. A leadoff single here in the 7th inning. And I would think the bullpen would start to work. The phone is ringing down there as we speak. Freddie gave up a home run and a single in the 5th, single, double, and a 2-run single in the 6th, and a leadoff single here in the 7th. So Brandon Inge, who's 0 for 2, steps up. Infield about halfway, outfield deep, and that fastball misses down.
Freddie still has yet to throw 80 pitches, but like you said, clearly his ball's flattening out a little bit, or these Tigers hitters are starting to pick up his release point a little bit better.
The 3rd time around has been problematic for Freddie tonight. Chases him back at first. Guillen not a candidate to run. Johnny Nunez and Tony Pena throwing in the pen. Tries to check his swing, but goes around, and the count evens at 1-1.
To your point, talking about how good Freddie was looking before, a 1-2-3 first, a 1-2-3 second, 1-2-3 third, and a 1-2-3 fourth before he had his first hiccup in the 5th inning. Still 2-1 strikes to balls, 54 strikes, only 26 balls. You got to like seeing that if you're Don Cooper.
Good fastball for a strike. So he moves ahead 1-2. And Inge, who has some big problems with hard breaking balls down. It's turned into 159 strikeouts to this point.
Add to that 11 double plays. Let's hope we can make it 12 right here.
Guillen a short lead at first. And that one down the 3rd base line, foul. It's a good thing it was, because I don't think Gordon, who was playing back, would have been able to throw out Inge at first base.
Now that one definitely would have been a tough one. Gordon moving away from first base, coming in, tries to get around it. But this ball, watch it hit the edge right here and almost start to come back. That would have been a put it in your back pocket and just get it right back to Freddie. If that was fair. And I can't tell you how many times as a hitter I just miss a line drive down a line. Next pitch I strike out. Knowing the way Brandon's going, let's hope that's true to form for him as well.
With 2 strikes, covering 295 at bats, batting average of 139. That's because that breaking ball mystifies him.
Oh, yes.
Like that. And he gets rung up by Wally Bell. Strikeout for the 2nd time tonight, the 6th time in 7 at-bats in this series.
You talk about one player who's going to be glad to leave Chicago. It's Brandon Inge. Again, just leading with his hands, his body sliding, his head. I mean, you can just see the frustration in him saying, I'm a better hitter than this. For some reason, he's just not picking up the ball. Lucky for us, we got a guy up now that truly is a double play candidate in Gerald Laird.
Laird 0 for 2. Last time a soft ground out to Gordon Beckham at 3rd on a short hop. In the hole, base hit. Mark your calendars for Sox Fest 2010. It's going to take place at the Palmer House Hilton January 22nd through the 24th. Presented by Miller Lite, Pepsi, and the Palmer House Hilton. For more information, visit www.whitesox.com/community. And here comes Ozzie. He's looking toward the pen, and I would think that that would be it. 2 on, 1 out, a 2-run lead here in the top of the 7th inning. Freddie's done a pretty good job to this point, but he appears to have hit the wall.
Well, and this has to be frustrating for Ozzie because this is a seeing eye ground ball. If this ball is 5 or 6 feet either way, Beckham starts a double play, Alexi starts a double play, and he's out of the inning. So Ozzie, in the back of his mind, is thinking, look, you're pitching well. This is not your fault, but like you know, as a manager, you don't want to put a pitcher in too long when you've got a lead.
Ozzie decides to leave him in, and Adam Everett, who's 0 for 2, comes up. And Jim Leland knows his personnel better than we do, but I'm glad Ramon Santiago is not getting an opportunity for what he's done against the Sox. Base hit left field. Quentin comes in. Gene Lamont's going to wave him around, and it's a 5-4 game. So Carlos Guillen scores the 4th run. Adam Everett drives in his 44th run. And it's a 1-run game.
And another one of those, this ball was hit a little bit better, but not so much that as a manager you're thinking your pitcher has lost it. Just another seeing eye ground ball right between short and third. Ozzie standing up in the dugout.
He's having a running conversation with a Tiger fan down there. Curtis Granderson with 2 on, 1 out, and an off-speed pitch, and swings through it.
Well, you look at what Curtis has done tonight against Freddie. Ground ball to second, pretty well hit ball to center, but a strikeout. So again, you've got to be thinking Freddie has his number. Let me see if he can get me into that short bullpen.
Base hit center field. Laird is being waved home. The throw comes into third base. Not in time. We've got a tie game at 5. It's RBI number 65 for Curtis Granderson. And that's going to be it for Freddie Garcia. So with Tony Pena coming in, we'll step out and we'll be back. Alexis called to the pen is Tony Pena. He's 1-2, ERA 4.35. He's on for the 32nd time. He inherits Tigers at first and third. The game is tied at 5. Tigers about hit the Sox 10-5. And Freddie Garcia trying to get out of this with a no decision. Placido Polanco, who's 1 for 3.
And a tough person to double up.
Just a tough hitter. And these are the situations where he usually shines. Polanco has grounded into 15 double plays. It's a great handler of the bat.
And the only person on the base pass for the Tigers that might disrupt Granderson, he's on first right now. Just making the situation a little bit more complicated for Tony.
I would think that Jim Leland, with a rookie catcher, is going to be testing him with Curtis Granderson, who's 20 out of 26 in stolen bases and is the #1 base runner on this team. Outfield straight away. Infield looking for 2. Sox have turned 1 double play, that coming in the 2nd inning off the bat of Aubrey Huff. Good fastball for a strike.
Right on that outside corner. Nice job by Tony, and now it gives him a chance to throw a slider, changeup, maybe fastball off the plate on the inner half to try to get into a ground ball situation here.
Good speed on the bases for the Tigers. Everett at third, Granderson at first. Only 1 out here in the top of the 7th. The Tigers have scored 2 runs this inning. They've tied it at 5. Sox had a 5-0 lead heading into the top of the 5th inning. Tigers have scored 1, 2, and 2 to this point. The slider just misses outside, evens the count at 1-1.
You see what Polanco has done with runners on third, less than 2 outs. 18 for 29, that's pretty doggone good.
Base hit right side. Tigers take the lead. Granderson coasts into third base. And for Polanco, that's RBI number 70.
That run will be charged to Freddie Garcia, but as we talked about, a good #2 hitter for any club in the major leagues needs to know how to handle their bat. We know Gordon Beckham has done that for the White Sox, and Polanco shortening up, choking up, trying to put the ball on the right side. And again, not hard hit, but well positioned. With Granderson, his good speed, he gets to third easily. And Tony Pena still in a bind here. First and third, only 1 out.
Maglio Ordonez, who doubled and scored last inning, looks at a slider for a strike.
Outfield slightly shading Maglio to right. As we talked about, he's one when he was with the White Sox, could hit it out to right center as easily as left center. But also a very good double play candidate.
He lined out hard in the 4th inning, doubled in the 6th. That slider puts him in an 0-2 hole. What you're hoping for here, if you're Pena, is Ordonez reaching out, putting a pitcher's pitch in play, because he doesn't run real well anymore. He's grounded into 19 double plays. Just barely able to stay alive. Minnesota leads Kansas City 7-2. That game in the top of the 6th. Polanco a short lead at first. Line drive right field. Another base hit. And another run as Granderson scores the 7th Tiger run.
We talked about Maglio's proficiency in taking the ball to right field. We had done a great job, Tony had, of throwing those sliders away. This time tries to run a fastball inside, but you can see, even though it was down, it was right over the middle of the plate. And Maglio with that inside-out swing almost hit that one too hard, but still fell in front of Jermaine. Another base hit.
And you can close the book on Freddie Garcia. At 6 1/3 innings, he gave up the 7 Tiger runs on 10 hits. Cleet Thomas taking over to pinch run, and he'll no doubt go in defensively for Ordonez. Miguel Cabrera looks at a fastball off the outside corner. Cabrera having a big night, 3 for 3, 3 driven in on 2 singles and a solo homer. Ball fouled off to the right.
We talked about him before the game, the fact that this is the one player that the Tigers really coveted, went out, traded for, found a way to bring him into their fold, and he has not disappointed. Hitting .327, now with 32 RBIs, and just everything you want in your number 4, your cleanup hitter. Finding a way to get RBIs even when pitchers don't give him good strikes or good pitches to hit, which he did tonight with that one curveball from Freddie that almost hit the dirt, but unfortunately was just shoe top high, and he golfed it out into right center field.
One of the reasons why the Sox were able to beat this Tiger team 2-0 last night was they kept Cabrera in check. He drew a base on balls, but then they retired him 3 straight times, including 2 strikeouts. But tonight, a different story. 3 for 3. Towering fly ball right field. Jermaine, as this ball slices away, he's got some room, and he makes the catch. Both runners tagging up. Bro comes in a second, not in time. And so Polanco and Thomas move up 90 feet.
And this is actually a great piece of base running by Thomas. Seeing Jermaine running away, seeing that Polanco was tagging up, he went back to tag up at first as well. Got a good read, a good jump, and it was one of those that, as he was going down towards second, if Jermaine had come up firing hard, he was going to be able to stop and get back to first, but when we saw Jermaine taking the extra couple steps to gather himself and not run into the fan base out there in right field, was able to hustle into second, and unfortunately we have 2 runners in scoring position. Lyle, LaGrange, Tinley Park in Northwest Indiana is now registering for fall training programs. Register at bullssoxacademy.com or call 630-PLAY-BALL. Lexus call to the pen is Randy Williams.
And he came on to face Aubrey Huff, but Aubrey Huff is not going to face him. So Randy Williams on for the 24th time, ERA 5.28. He inherits runners at second and third. And they're going to walk, it looks like, Marcus Timms.
Randy did a great job last night. Was one of 4 pitchers that shut out the Tigers. As you said, Steve, got Aubrey last night when he faced him. I think Jimmy realizing how important this game is, trying to give his players the best chance to win. Pinch hitting for Aubrey, and Randy doing his part. Open base, go ahead and give it to him. Let's get a force out anywhere.
And it'll turn Carlos Guillen around to hit from the right side, where he's had just 35 at bats this year.
Well, and to your point, with his shoulder problems, the right side was where he had more issues and probably felt more pain. So Jimmy putting him in a position only facing righties. This bodes well for Randy and for us. We need to get out of this inning now and get back at the plate and get some runs.
Well, last night he had 1 right-handed at bat and drew a walk from Matt Thornton. So he hits with the bases loaded. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. The Tigers have scored 4 runs to take a 7-5 lead. And Guillen hitting .229 from the right side, looking out at Randy Williams. Good off-speed pitch, and Guillen well over the top of it.
Carlos a little bit anxious there, assuming a reliever coming in, going to try to get ahead with the fastball and a strike. Sometimes when you guess wrong. Randy did a good job of changing them up.
Guillen led off the inning with a base hit, and that started the hit parade against Freddie Garcia, who was chased this inning. That one fouled off to the right, and quickly Guillen in an 0-2 hole. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th inning, it'll be Rios, Nix, and Flowers due up. Outfield shading Guillen around toward right center field. Fastball misses up and away.
Tyler calling for that pitch up and in. Sometimes for a pitcher, it's got to be tough when you see a catcher setting up out of the zone like that to really be able to focus and get it that high.
On straight fastballs, most left-handers have problems getting the ball in and up to right-hand hitters. Well, the 1-2 pitch. And he misses. Count moves to 2-2. And you just as soon the pitch of resolution be this one as opposed to going to 3-2 and giving the base runners a running start. Count will go full, and the runners will get that running start as Williams misses with a changeup away.
Not a bad call by Tyler, but again, for Randy, you've really got to make sure you're getting that one over the plate. That had no chance of having Carlos swing at it because it was so far outside. To your point, though, you got to have a pitch there, 2-2 in this situation that you have 100% confidence that you can throw for a strike.
3-2 pitch. Runners going. Chopper left side. Tough play, off balance. Good pick by Paul. And the Sox are out of the inning, but 4 runs on 6 hits. And we'll head into the 7th inning stretch, trailing 7-5.
Not going to be able to speak for about an inning.
Cleek Thomas, who came in the game to pinch run, takes over in right field. Ryan Rayburn takes over defensively in left field. And Zach Miner comes into the game. Miner at 7-5, ERA 4.36, on for the 48th time. 5 of them starts. There you look at the numbers. Tigers lead by 2. As Alex Rios, who's had a very good night, will lead it off. He homered in his second inning, 17th of the year. A base hit in the 4th. As the Sox try to come back in this one. They led 5-0 after 4. Tigers scored 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 4 in the 7th, and have the lead. And that fastball for a strike from Miner.
Well, what we need here, Steve, is to get back having our leadoff hitters get on base first. We did that early in the game. We got a lead, 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th, and we need to start that habit again.
Zach Miner, 6'3", 200 pounds, out of St. Louis, Missouri. Last year split his year between Toledo and Detroit. 45 appearances for the Tigers, 13 of them starts, and he was 8-5. Quickly ahead 1-2. Dwayne Wise in the on-deck circle. He's going to come on to pinch hit for Jason Nix. That fastball misses up and away, evens the count at 2-2.
Zach sure wanted that one. Looking in, starting to walk off towards their dugout.
You don't want to go up against these Tigers and have to beat Fernando Rodney late. He's 35 of 36 in save situations. Threw the fastball right by him, and Rios, looking back at Kerwin Danley, thought that he had fouled it off, or said he did. Danley wasn't buying it. Laird puts on the tag, and Rios goes down on strikes. Dwayne Wise comes on to pinch hit. Wise hitting .205 overall, been a very effective pinch hitter. 3 for 8 with a home run and 1 driven in as a pinch hitter. That fastball misses away. Curtis Granderson, before the pitch, moved a couple of steps into left center field, which would pretty much tell you that they're going to pitch Dwayne away.
As a hitter, too, you need to look at the positional of all the infield and outfield. If they're playing you that way, you can also start thinking, A, they may pitch me away, or B, they're going to throw hard, not giving me something soft, be it a changeup or a curveball, where I can get the barrel out there and pull it.
1-1 pitch, line drive, base hit. 4th pinch hit for Dwayne Wise. And so that'll bring the tying run to the plate. And it's going to be Tyler Flowers.
Dwayne doing a good job here. Away, away, away. Leaning over the plate a little bit more. This time just a little bit off of it, that changeup. And as we talked about, goes against what your defense is doing and puts your positional players out of position, because now where they're thinking you're pitching them one way, you give Dwayne a chance to go the other. Base hit. Now let's hope that leads to some really good things with Tyler here.
Well, Tyler's had 2 at-bats and no contact. Threw a base on balls in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 4th. And a good slider over the outside corner by Miner.
Yeah, and Tyler doing a good job there of not swinging. I know sometimes it sounds strange to say, but young kid, you're up there looking for a fastball. He throws a slider. If you swing at that more often, you're either going to miss it or tap it back, and it might be a double play.
That slider misses away, and I've talked to a lot of good hitters, never being one myself, and they say the art of hitting is not putting the pitcher's pitch in play. It's fouling off the pitcher's pitch if you swing at it. But don't swing at it until you have to, which is later in the count.
Exactly. 1 or 2 strikes.
And there are 2 strikes. He throws a fastball by him, so Tyler in a hole 1-2.
Again, coming up, I remember being taught from high school, Ron Klein up on the North Shore at New Trier, all the way through college, Ron Wellman at Northwestern. 2 strikes, even choke up. I mean, that's something you rarely see these days. But to your point, once you get 2 strikes, you've got to battle a pitcher's pitch.
And there's strike 3, breaking ball down.
And that was truly a pitcher's pitch. I mean, when you talk about a pitcher's pitch, it's off the corner. It's out of the zone. It's when there's 2 strikes. And as a hitter with 2 strikes, you've got to protect this ball you see going into the dirt. Can't be thinking too much more than just fouling it if you are going to swing, trying to get to a ball that's in the strike zone or up in the strike zone that you can put a good pass on and hopefully get a base hit.
If pitchers had to get hitters out in the strike zone, there'd be a lot better hitters around. Scott Posednik puts it 1 on the outside corner. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
Spoken like a true pitcher.
Well, that's the art of pitching. If you get ahead of a hitter, you get him out of the zone.
Exactly.
You don't get him out in the zone. The only time you throw a strike is when you absolutely have to. Little chopper. Inge has it. This will be easy. And that's it for the bottom of the 7th. So we'll head into the 8th inning with the Tigers leading 7-5. Well, thank you, our Chuck. And Scott Linebrink comes into the game. Brett Lillibridge takes over at second base. And Linebrink comes into this one. He's 3-7, ERA 4.14, on for the 56th time. And it'll be Brandon Inge leading it off. Inge 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Looks at a fastball right down the middle.
And Scott's job here is one thing and one thing only: get us back into that dugout, not giving up any runs, and giving us a chance to put a couple points up in the 8th and 9th innings.
It'll be Beckham, Ramirez, and Konerko in the bottom of the 8th. Good breaking ball in the outside corner, and that's really the key, and what Scott will have to do next year is consistently get something other than the fastball over the plate. If he can do that, his fastball is plenty good enough.
And I'm sure it's easier said than done, but when you start to struggle a little bit on the mound, I know as a hitter, do you start to get away from your second and third pitch when you're struggling, thinking I've got to get my best pitch over because that's all I have confidence in?
He's looking at a breaking ball, and I didn't have that luxury because I didn't have one pitch that was good enough to just depend on one. So I had to sometimes invent a pitch.
We've talked about someone having a rough day, rough weekend so far, a rough couple games. I'm sorry, Brandon Inge. That's his 3rd strikeout of the night and 7th in 8 at-bats against the Sox pitching these first 2 games.
We had a fly ball to deep left field in the 3rd inning, and when you fan 7 other times, you want the game ball. There's a good, looked like a cut fastball on the outside corner. So Laird 1 for 3, but it was a big hit in the middle of a 4-run, 6-hit 7th.
And really, as we went through our pitchers in that 7th inning and unfortunately faced 10 Tiger batters, there was not one hit that you would have thought broke any pitchers or our back. There were 6 singles mixed in with a walk. And sometimes seeing eye and line drive singles, if you keep those base runners on, you keep a pitcher in a stretch, you keep runners on first and third, you can do a lot of good things on an offensive side.
Well, once the Tigers got it going, they just didn't stop. 1-2 count on Gerald Laird.
Well, you've seen a lot of kids here tonight anxious to do some rooting for the White Sox.
That ball misses low and away, and they got Laird from the Texas Rangers. There is an embarrassment of riches in the catching department for the Rangers, and that's a tough position to fill. But they've got Jared Saltalamacchia, Taylor Teagarden, a hitter by the name of Max Ramirez, who also happens to be a catcher. And for whatever reason, for the last few years, Texas has developed a whole lot of catchers as Brandon Lyon begins to throw in the bullpen. And he's the setup man in the 8th that gets the ball to Rodney in the 9th. That fastball just misses up and out of the zone, so the count goes full.
Yeah, I know down there, having lived in Texas the last 6 years, they were pretty excited about Teagarden coming up. And Saltalamacchia, they were ecstatic when they got him in the big trade for Teixeira. So as you said, a tough position to fill. They've got an abundance there right now. Another good pitch by Linebrink, fouled off by Laird.
Well, if in fact Taylor Teagarden can consistently hit the baseball, there are very few guys around that can throw the ball like he can. He has a rocket for an arm. Base hit center field. So a 3-2 fastball winds up in the glove of Alex Rios on a couple of hops. And that's the second hit of the night for Gerald Laird. White Sox fans, come to Gate 5 for Fan Appreciation tent sale tomorrow. The sale will open at 9 a.m. The sale will stay open for an hour after the game. And remember, tomorrow the finale. It's a 1 o'clock game, the final home game of the year before the Sox travel to Cleveland for 3 and end it in Detroit for 3. So regardless of the outcome of the game tonight, the Sox still will have a hand in who wins the Central. Adam Everett looks at a fastball up high. He's 1 for 3. An RBI single in the big 7th. So he's got 44 runs batted in.
He was a nice addition to this ball club. A really good glove, good speed.
Well, along with 35 runs driven in by Santiago, they've got 75 RBIs from shortstop.
And that is, you think about how few besides a Derek Jeter or an A-Rod when he was there. There's very few teams that can put up those types of numbers.
No, that's a pretty good number combined. Runner going, hit and run, fouled off to the right side.
Good pitch by Scott there, rushing that one in. If not by design, definitely great location, because with a hit and run, Everett trying to go to right, very difficult when you have one rushing up in on you on that inside corner. You see him bring his hands in there. Good downward approach, but again, tough to stay on top of that type of pitch.
And Laird's 4 for 4 in stolen bases, so he'll throw a surprise party every now and then if you don't watch him. Scott Linebrink, knowing that, holds him close.
Absolutely right. Sometimes you don't have to be fast to steal a base. Some pitchers have such a high kick that even if you're a little bit slower, you can definitely steal one.
A fastball over the inside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. So you saw Minnesota now leading 7-3 as Kansas City in the bottom of the 7th trying to come back in that one. St. Louis leading Colorado 3-1. One more win and the Cardinals win the National League Central. Runner going. Throw to second, not in time, and Laird is now 5 for 5. So thinking perhaps that Linebrink would forget about him on the 1-2 pitch. Laird takes off and actually steals it rather easily because he gets a 4-step jump.
Well, exactly right, Steve. When you're a base stealer, you're never really stealing on the catcher, and there's been very few catchers that make you not steal. Where you steal is off the pitcher. And when you have a pitcher like Scott or any pitcher that every now and then takes the focus off of you and has that type of a high leg kick, and you get 3 or 4 steps, you don't have to be really fast to be able to steal a base.
2-2 count with 1 out here in the 8th. And a fastball right by Everett. Well, we talk a lot about things that have gone wrong this year as far as this White Sox team. We talk about some base running and the improvement there. We'd like to make some defensive improvements and certainly situational hitting. But one of the things that the Sox are going to have to do with the guys they bring back in the pitching staff is be more cognizant of the base runners. Get a little quicker. Vary your times to first. Little looper, foul.
Well, you stop and you think about our starting pitchers. I mean, people like Mark Burley are great examples of that because every now and then they'll just do a slide step. Jake Peavy looks like he does the same thing. But if you can just break it up as a pitcher and not always have that high leg kick, but go ahead and learn how to do a slide step, learn how to shorten it up, and learn how to work a little bit more quickly, to your point, you're going to keep everybody in the game and you're going to keep their base runners guessing a little bit more.
Gavin Floyd done it a little better this year because he was victimized last year. And it's not so much the starting pitchers, but it's been the guys out of the bullpen that have had their problems. And you know Don Cooper's been working on it with all of them. That one low and in. The count goes to 2-1. And like a few of these other Tiger hitters, Granderson got his first hit of the game and his first run batted in last inning. Fly ball left field, well hit. Quinton back into the corner. That ball's off the wall. And Granderson into third base. The throw is late. Curtis Granderson driving in his 66th run. That's his 8th triple of the year. And that ball sliced away from Carlos Quinton. He was playing into left center field and didn't have much of a chance at that one.
Yeah, Carlos did a good job on this all the way up till the very end where he tried to stop. He was a little too close to the fence, and you can see a little bit of the frustration there. When you get that close to the fence, if the ball bounces off funny at all, it's going to be tough to keep it right in front of you. That one rolled far enough down the left field line back toward the infield that Granderson, with the ball in front of him, was able to make that call on his own.
Swing and a miss by Placido Polanco, who's got a couple of hits tonight. 1 run driven in. 70 runs batted in for your number 2 hitter, especially a guy who handles the bat this well, is a pretty good number. Tigers lead 8-5. They've out-hit the Sox 14-8. And career against Scott Linebrink, an even .500. Right down the line. It's a 9-5 game, and Polanco taking the big turn. He's on to second base, and he'll coast in with a double. So Polanco had 3 hits last night, has 3 hits tonight. Drives in his 71st run of the year. Scott Linebrink having some problems. And the Tigers pouring it on late. 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 4 in the 7th, and 2 here in the 8th. And they've taken a 9-5 lead. And for the first time tonight, Cleet Thomas, who came in to pinch run for Magglio Ordonez, will get an at-bat. And he looks at a fastball for a strike.
Scott Linebrink, again, I'm sure he's thinking when it rains, it pours. He hasn't missed his pitches by much, but again, in the major leagues, you're going for the inside corner, and all of a sudden you lead it over the inside half. A good hitter, as you talked about before, is going to be able to put the barrel on it. Polanco keeping that one fair and hitting it hard down the third base line.
Cleet Thomas hitting .245, 7 home runs, 38 driven in. And Johnny Nunez throwing in the bullpen. See Juan Nieves telling him about that front shoulder and keeping it closed. I think Tyler Flowers was crossed up. as it looked like he just slapped at that ball. Watch it again. This is not a comfortable feeling for a catcher.
No. You're a rookie. You're trying to make a good impression. Got down well, kept it in front of him. I'm sure he wasn't expecting the ball to get that far out in front plate before it crossed.
That ball just barely tipped and out of the glove of Flowers. One and two count with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. And it's been a tough second half of the game for the Sox tonight. Line drive, base hit to center. And that's going to be double figures for the Tigers. It's a 10-5 game. Scott Linebrink has given up 3 here in the 8th.
Don Cooper saying bullpen is ready. But again, Scott Linebrink, unfortunately, this is a slider up in the zone, right over the middle of the plate. You're not going to get away with this pitch. Cleat obviously made him pay for it. Scott getting ahead here, 0-1. Miguel Cabrera, again, having a great night. 3 for 4, a home run, 3 RBIs. And his hit in the 7th inning was really the one that opened it up, because it was a good pitcher's pitch just off the ground, and he still went down and was able to get it out into right center field for a 2-run single.
We're going to take a look at the reaction of Scott Linebrink. Watch his reaction to this pitch. He puts the glove up. That ball is 30 feet over his head. And that's the second time tonight on a ball hit well over his head that he's reacted like that. And sometimes, if you've had a lot of shots back to you, you start thinking about the ball coming back to you, and that's not a real good thing.
Oh, I can only imagine. You guys on the mound are so close, and these hitters are so big and strong.
And that ball gets away and winds up in the seats. So Thomas will wind up at second base. Well, I have to laugh, Mike, because they call third base the hot corner, and you're 90 feet away, and when a pitcher delivers the baseball, he's 55 feet away. It's not a corner, but it's the hottest place you can be in the infield.
Well, and that amazes me how more pitchers don't come off in a good fielding position. And I know you're trying to throw it 90-plus miles an hour and give it everything you have, but when you look at how quickly that ball can come back off a bat, I would think you'd be in as much a fielding position as you could possibly imagine.
Little looper to right field. Lillibridge can't get to it. That ball's going to drop. And Thomas is going to score. So the wild pitch yields the 4th run of the inning. Back-to-back 4-run innings. It's 11-5. And the Tigers are pouring it on. And here comes Ozzie, and that's going to be it for Scott Linebrink. Johnny Nunez will come into this one, and we'll be back after these messages. just over 10. He inherits Cabrera at first base, who's 4 for 5. He's driven in 4 runs tonight. And Nunez, a sinker ball pitcher. He is the last remnant of the Nick Swisher trade with the New York Yankees. And he's young enough, has a good enough arm to still be a factor out of the bullpen, and he'll be one of the guys contending for a job next year.
Well, there's a lot of quality arms that we're going to have, young pitchers coming up, Daniel Hudson being one of them, that I think Don Cooper and Ozzie are going to be in a good position come spring training next year.
Well, Jim Leland was talking about Daniel Hudson, who'll throw tomorrow, by the way, and he was saying that he thought that young man was pretty impressive. When I asked him where he saw him, he said he watched the first game he started. So major league managers will always take a look at the opposition if they get a chance. Marcus Timms, who drew an intentional walk last time up, sees a couple of sliders, 1 a strike, 1 a ball.
To your point, that's the big reason that Jim Leland is still managing and as successful as he has been. He doesn't take anything for granted. With his club vying for a playoff spot, he's going to look at every pitcher that he's going to face probably from the beginning of September all the way through the end until the Tigers are either in it or out of it.
I talked to Leland before the game today, and I said to him, is it the same as it was when you first started? He said, in the 9th inning of opening day, if I have a lead and my heart is not pounding, he goes, I shouldn't manage anymore. And he said it still is after all these years. So the 2-2 pitch, and that one misses low and away. Count goes full.
Johnny just missed with that fastball 1-2 just off the plate. Slider unfortunately was not quite where he wanted it, so now almost putting it back into the hitter's position, 3-2, letting him off the hook.
And he misses way wide of the plate with that slider, so the inning continues. A big night for Miguel Cabrera. He's driven in 4 runs on 4 hits. He's 4 for 5, and he's driven in an even 100 this year. It's Ryan Rayburn who came in defensively. So he'll get his first at bat of the night.
And this will be the 9th batter for the Tigers. 2nd inning in a row they've batted around the order.
Right back up the middle, off a Nunez glove. It's going to go for a base hit. That goes back, Mike, to what you were saying, and that is, and I've always talked to young pitchers about it, when you deliver the baseball, you become the 5th infielder. And you can win yourself a lot of games by being able to field. That's a play you should have made because it was to the glove hand side.
You would think that's an easy thing for you to tell these pitchers too, especially the young ones, because you can point out so many great fielding pitchers that extended their careers, probably had an extra 20 to 50 wins because they could field their position.
Bases loaded. And Brandon Ind comes up. He's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. But with the bases loaded over the course of his career, he's been pretty tough. Little chopper, Ramirez has it. He'll go to first with it and get it. And mercifully, the 8th inning comes to an end. But the Tigers put another 4 up, and it's 11-5, so we head into the bottom of the 8th inning. nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T, your world delivered. Brandon Lyon comes into the game. And Lyon 6-4, having a very good year. 290 earned run average, on for the 61st time. He does have 3 saves. Only 51 hits and 71 in the third innings. Now, he was used as a closer for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And he's a pretty good one. But he hurt his elbow. Originally coming up out of the Boston Red Sox organization. He's always had great stuff. The question is, could he stay healthy? This year he has. So he looks in at Gordon Beckham, who singled in a run in the first inning. Grounded out and popped up. So he's 1 for 3. Count goes to 2-0. So you thought every game was like last night. You give up no runs, get a 2-run homer, everything coasts along, the bullpen's perfect. Sox win, you go home.
That's the way I scripted it tonight, too. I don't know what happened. I guess Ozzie didn't get the script. To your point about Brandon, I mean, truly, even as a setup man now, opponents are only hitting .202 against him. So when he is healthy, he can be awfully tough.
Well, that 8th inning man has become equally as important as your 9th inning guy, for the simple reason that if he's not good, your 9th inning guy is non-factor.
Well, you think about most World Series teams over the last decade. I mean, almost going back to the Yankees when you had Rivera as a setup man for Wetland. And now you really look at those teams that have 2 people, that 8th and that 9th, that really make the game a 7-inning game for the managers.
Gordon Lakey, who's a Philly scout, there's a lot of scouts in the stands looking at the Detroit Tigers. He was talking about his team and the problems they've had late in their bullpen. That one misses inside, and Gordon draws a base on balls. So let's try to give him a finish here.
Well, they put up a 4 spot on us. I see no reason why we can't put a couple 4 spots right back on them.
The first 4 innings looked pretty good. 4 goose eggs up on the board. Then it was 1, 2, 4, and 4 for the Tigers, who lead by 6. As Alexi Ramirez comes up, he's 1 for 3. Singled in the 4th inning. The first 5 innings of this game, the Sox put on the leadoff man.
Unfortunately, in 4 of those 5, double plays shorten the innings. And as we've talked about, 27 outs, you need to use all 27 when you're an offensive team. And as a defensive team, you want to shorten the game any way possible. Giving up those 4 outs and double plays didn't give us a chance to extend a potential 5-0 lead into something bigger, and now it's come back to hurt us.
Josh Fields in the on-deck circle, and normally, and this is one of the things about this ball club that's been frustrating this year, Hawk calls it the killer instinct. You have a team down 5-0, you don't add on, and that team is able to claw their way back into the game.
I totally agree, especially the way Freddie was throwing. It's almost like he could put the offense to sleep, knowing, again, the first 4 innings were 3 up and 3 down. Granted, we had 1 double play, 1 base hit from Cabrera, but when you face 12 batters and you're coasting and all of a sudden you have a 5-0 lead, to your point, we need to have someone in that dugout still inciting everyone else to say, we're not done yet, guys. Everyone that's gotten a hit, let's make it 2. Everyone that's gotten 2, let's make it 3. And if nothing else, let's pad our stats and really hurt these guys and hurt their bullpen for the rest of the week.
Line drive right at Everett, and a good piece of base running by Beckham, because it would have been easy to get doubled up on that.
Alexi having a great day.
Hey, Sox fans, join the team in sunny Glendale, Arizona for spring training 2010 with lower prices. This is going to be the best baseball vacation ever. Visit www.whitesox.com/spring travel or call 1-800-892-7687.
I want to say Alexi's actually having a great day. His first at-bat drove one hard to left field, had a solid line drive single in the second at-bat. And that one, granted, when you hit the ball hard, I think that's what Ozzie, again, we've talked about, how do we build knowing we're not going to the playoffs? What can we take away? You want to win games like we did last night. But in a game like this, even when it's starting to get away from you, you still want to have a good, solid at-bat and not give it away. Like I say, at least hit the ball hard there.
And unfortunately, there was a man there. So Josh Fields hitting .220, getting a chance to hit. And the count evens at 1-1. One out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And there you look at the numbers. Been a disappointing season for Josh. He hasn't had much of an opportunity. And the position that he was going to play, Gordon Beckham, has just taken a stranglehold on third base. Ground ball to short. They go to second for one, back to first. The 5th double play of the night. And that's it in the 8th inning. We'll head to the top of the 9th. It's been all Tigers late. They lead 11-5. Cellular White Sox postgame live. You'll see all the highlights, get Bill Melton's analysis, plus listen in on Ozzie Guillen's postgame remarks. Don't miss U.S. Cellular White Sox postgame live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. So Josh Fields stays in the game at first base. And Johnny Nunez, who came in the game last inning in relief of Scott Linebrink, delivers a first pitch strike to Gerald Laird, who's 2 for 4 tonight. That evens the count at 1-1. Turned into a beautiful night for baseball, except for the scoreboard.
Actually, it was a beautiful 5 innings of baseball.
Little looper to right field. And Jermaine can't get to it. I think he lost that ball. As Laird goes into second, he's safe.
He had to lose that ball because he had a good jump on it. Looked like he had a beat on it. And overran it, which tells you clearly we've got a bank of lights right along that line of hitting. That sinking line drive into right center. Unfortunately, I've been a part of that a few times.
He absolutely lost that ball in the lights.
Now it's doing a good job of backing him up. You can see him running hard right there, trying to get there, probably talking to him. Come on in a little bit more. Almost got Gerald out at second.
Adam Everett swinging through a high fastball. He's 1 for 4. 23rd double of the year for Laird, who has 3 hits tonight.
Adam laying off that one. Gerald really started off not looking too good. A little pop up to the catcher and ground ball to third, but a seeing eye ground ball in that infamous 7th inning. And the next thing you know, he's got a solid line drive up the middle and now a little bloop double.
And a stolen base. And that is the description of a wild pitch. When they had wild pitch in mind, it was that pitch.
Again, another one of those that Tyler is saying, wait a minute, I'm in the big leagues. Aren't these balls supposed to get past home plate before they hit the dirt?
Those 56-foot sliders are pretty tough to corral. So Laird moves to third. The infield moves in at all 4 positions, trying to cut off that all-important 12th run.
Ronnie Kovar rules.
Good fastball for a strike. Evens the count at 2-2.
Well, I tell you what, when Johnny just relaxes and picks up the glove, that ball is really popping out. I mean, throwing it now in the low to mid-90s. I didn't realize his arm was that good.
Well, he's still very young. Everett pops it straight up. Ramirez makes the play. That's one of the most frustrating things for any hitter. I don't care if the game is 11-5 or 20-5. When you can't drive home a runner from third base with less than 2 outs, that's a disappointment for any hitter.
Well, as we talked about, their shortstops this year, 75 RBIs between them. They have executed in that situation. I'm sure he's going back a little frustrated right now.
Curtis Granderson looks at a slider for a strike. He's 2 for 5. Single, drove in a run in the 7th. Tripled his 8th of the year. Drove in a run in the 8th. Looks at a fastball that misses inside. Granderson has always done a pretty good job in this ballpark. This is home for him. He's a Chicago area product.
Chicago boy.
Base hit. Number 3 for Curtis Granderson, and all of them have driven in runs. So Granderson came in struggling in the 240s, had 3 tough at bats, and then 3 straight run producing hits. And it's a 12-5 game.
Well, you talk about what turns on or off a light switch for a team, and really in that 7th inning where they really exploded for those runs, it wasn't a lot of rocket double home runs. It was some seeing eye ground balls that I think just gave their guys confidence to say, look, as long as we hit it, we've got a chance to get a base hit.
I'll go back to the 6th inning with runners at 2nd and 3rd and Cabrera up. Freddie tried to throw a breaking ball in the dirt. He had just called out Tyler Flowers, didn't get it in the dirt, and Cabrera looped a single to right center. That scored 2. That narrowed the gap to 5-4, and that seemed to turn on this offense. And a big night for Miguel Cabrera.
No, I would agree wholeheartedly. I think every manager can look back and point to 1 or 2 plays, but again, Cabrera, the guy that you want to stand up, the guy that you want to say, get some guys on, I'll drive them in. He did exactly what he's paid to do.
Well, Dave Dombrowski knew when he got Cabrera, he was getting a prolific run producer and a guy that was going to hit the tough pitches, not just the 4s and 5s in the starting rotation. And Polanco draws a base on balls. That'll bring up Clete Thomas, who had an RBI single in his only at bat of the night, that coming last inning.
Clete got that slider that was up in the zone and hit it hard in center field off Scott Linebrink. And that's where you want to put those sliders. Start them in the zone and have them fall out.
Oh, 0-2 count on Thomas. 1 out here in the 9th inning. The Tigers have 20 hits and 12 runs to go with it. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. And that fastball misses up high. Minnesota leading Kansas City 11-4. That game looks like the top of the 8th inning.
Top of the 8th.
Fouled off to the left. So assuming that both of these scores hold, and you would think that they would, the lead is going to stay at 2. Final home game tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And then for us, it's on to Cleveland. for the Tigers. They go home for 4 against Minnesota. Tomorrow it's going to be Edwin Jackson against Daniel Hudson. Jackson having a terrific year for these Tigers. And there you see the remaining schedule coming up. 3 night games against the Indians, then a day off on Thursday. And we finish it up with a couple of night games and a day game in Detroit. That one popped up in the infield, and Brent Lillibridge is calling for it. Infield fly rule. So there are 2 outs.
And the one guy that is having a career night stepping up to the plate. 4 hits, 5 at bats, a home run, 4 RBIs.
For the game, Jim Leland said, when my team is winning and winning big, I don't take my big hitters out of the game. He said, I'll take them out when we're losing big. And a chopper. Gordon Beckham will make the play. And we'll head to the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing by 7. This coverage starts with the Philco White Sox pregame live. Then it's a central brawl. Sox and Tigers in HD tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Well, this brawl has belonged to the Tigers to this point. Lions still in the game, and Jermaine Dye to lead it off in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, this game really had the feel of a punch and a counter punch where we got that first jab in. Unfortunately, it wasn't a knockout blow. Hit him a couple times, getting up 5-0. But the next thing you know, we didn't put him out. Gave the Tigers some life. And
every team has a distinct personality. And I remember, for instance, a great American League team, the Oakland team of 72 to 74. They usually beat you 4-2, 3-1. It was pitching and defense. I remember the Toronto team, 92 and 93, they beat you 10-9, 9-7. But I remember the Big Red Machine, and that was the mid-70s. And if they were up 5-0, they beat you 12-0. They boxed your ears off, and they never stopped. There was never a wasted at bat. Towering pop-up. Cleet Thomas coming in, and he'll put this away for out number 1. So every team has a different character, and there's some teams, if your pitching and defense is good enough, you can hang on to leads, where most teams, especially in the American League today, where you have high-powered offenses, you've got to continue to add on. If you don't, you run the risk of having happen what happened tonight. You take a 5-0 lead, you allow a team to start to get a little confidence, and before you know it, they're killing your bullpen, and you're behind 12-5 in a game seemingly you had in hand 5-0 heading into the top of the 5th inning.
That's exactly right. I mean, this whole game started, as you said, with a curveball that didn't quite bounce, and it's a little bloop single for a 2-run, 5-3 lead by the Sox, not 5-1 ending an inning, and then a 7th inning where there's 6 singles, of which maybe only 2 or 3 were hit hard.
Carlos Quentin with a 3-run homer tonight is 1 for 3. Brandon Lyon falls behind 2-1.
They had a great crowd tonight, 35,590. A lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, especially those first innings. A lot of kids here.
And they were into this one from the beginning when it was all Sox. A good fastball, threw it right by Carlos. So the count evens at 2-2. Remember the finale as far as the home schedule tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. If you can't be here, then join us on Comcast. Ground ball to short. Everett up with it on the backhand. And there are 2 outs.
Throw one more quick shout out to the Huff girls, who I know are staying up late watching this game. Brianna and Sheridan with their niece Sky and nephew Grayson. Thank you very much.
And Hawk Harrelson has some family matters to attend to, so you're going to be back tomorrow.
Hoping to have the magic we had last night come back.
That would be a lot more entertaining. 2 outs here in the 9th. And Alex Rios has had a pretty good night. He's 2 for 3. Solo home run in the 2nd inning. Line drive base hit in the 4th. Strikeout swinging in the 7th. Line drive right field, but it's slicing foul. So he's in an 0-2 hole. 12, 20, and 1 for the Tigers. 5, 8, and 0 for the Sox. And Jim Leyland knows he'll keep that 2-game lead heading into tomorrow. A 1-2 count.
You think of all the games Jimmy Leyland has managed, nothing's going to surprise him.
Not at this point. That slider misses down. And the count is 2-2.
He's probably seen games where he was losing 10-0, where he had teams that came back, and somehow he's a manager that just imbibes confidence, and if nothing else, can definitely rally a club.
Right back up the middle, but Polanco on the backhand, sets, throws, that's it. So the Tigers take the 2nd game of the series and even the series at 1, setting up the 3rd final and rubber game. And Mike, it was fun last night. Tonight, a tough night.
Well, not quite as much fun as it